Belgium national team for a long time had a recognizable image. A team of veterans with a back three totaling over 100 years old. A low defensive line, a lack of pressing, compensated by the talent of the golden generation with Edin Hazard in chief. However, with the arrival of Domenico Tedesco, Belgium has gained a new identity. The average age of the team has significantly decreased, and now it's a fully modern team with alternatives between a classic 4-4-2 in defense and a 4-4-2 diamond in pressing. In positional possession, left back pushes high and supports the attack, and Belgium's structure in these terms is quite comparable to Xavi's Barcelona. The low defensive line and passive in defense can be forgotten. Now Belgium is a bold, intensely and pressing team. On the downside, there is a lack of cohesion. The abundance of new faces and other inevitable issues that accompany any generational change. Additionally, no one can confidently predict the form of the team's main striking force, Romelu Lukaku, ahead of the key matches. Lukaku had a poor club season, which is considering since he usually takes a long time to regain form, but he performed well in friendlies. Thus, Lukaku's readiness for the tournament is a mystery. And the World Cup in Qatar already showed that what happens when he's not ready. Nonetheless, the Belgium generation looks no worse than the old one, and in terms of quality, the team can be considered among the favorites. Therefore, Belgium at the Euros is a dark horse and can either fail to advance from the group stage or comfortably reach semifinals or even final. Italy. That will be the first tournament we will see Luciano Spalletti boys in play, the first major tournament, and what we see might surprise us. Although Spalletti prefers a four defender formation at the club level, due to the lack of quality defensive players, it's quite possible that the Azzurri will play with 3-4-2-1 formation. And Spalletti has already tested it in friendly against Bosnia and seemed to look satisfied with the result. Changes include the uncertain status of key player Nicolo Barella, who is still recovering from injury, and the lack of replacement for Gianluca Scamacca. Although Scamacca is good and in a really good form, alternative candidates did not convince in friendlies, leading to a dull goalless draw with Turkey. Another certainty is whether Giovanni Di Lorenzo can handle the unfamiliar role of a wide defender in the back three. Antonio Conte, who will decide whether to extend his contract, will be watching closely, that's for sure. Strengths include a solid defense and perhaps the strongest lineup of goalkeepers. In a short knockout tournament where coaches have only a few weeks to prepare, a strong defense can be more beneficial than a talented laden but uncoordinated attack. Just ask Moroccan team from the last World Cup. Overall, I would say that Italians look pretty much close to Belgium. That's a dark horse among the favorites. They are fully capable of reaching semis, but no one would be surprised if they fail to advance from the group stage. Luis de la Fuente team steamrolled through friendlies against Andorra and Northern Ireland, destroying them with a combined score of 10-1. In these matches, the coach focused on youthful talent up front and experience at the back. But will he maintain this balance against more serious opponents? The first game against Croatia showed that he will, and that's a good sign for Spain national team. Pedri has finally recovered from a long-term injury. Rodri remains the best defensive midfielder in the world. Yemin Lamal and Nico William tear up the wing with a speed and dribbling, nice assists, and Jordi Alba's spot might be taken by another creative player, the highest scoring defender in Europe, Alex Grimaldo. Moreover, the team includes many players from the same clubs, and they would be more if not for injuries of Gavi or Alejandro Balde, ready to play the ball around and dominate as usual. Potential downsides include a lack of creativity in attack, but they do have new coming players, so young and talented. Yes, Spain easily crushes minors, but against well organized low blocks, usually La Roja gets lost and resorts to aimless passing. This was clearly demonstrated at the previous World Cup, where the Spanish thrashed Costa Rica 7-0 in the group stage, but then lost to Morocco on penalties after a nil-nil draw in the first knockout match. Let's hope that the past year and a half Spaniards have learned something new. Potentially, that could be a Euro finalist. And now about the hosts. The German national team hasn't been this balanced in a long time. Heading into the home Euros, Julian Nagelsmann seems to have finally found the optimal lineup, addressing the center forward issues and finding the best midfield combination. Germany greatly benefited from the return of Toni Kroos. Now, alongside him in the holding role is his personal Rodrigo de Paul, Robert Endrick, while the number 10 role above them can be taken by either Captain Ilkay Gundogan or the young Florian Wirtz. The main factor that could hinder a successful performance is the pressure of playing at home, as expectations from home Euro, further fueled by the possible retirement of Tony and quite likely Manuel Neuer together with him, will be higher than ever. The defensive flank are also a concern because David Raum and Maximilian Mittelstadt, and also possibly Joshua Kimmich, are not the most reliable players at current shape. The flip side of the pressure is increased motivation and crowd support. Germany hasn't had such an abundance in a form and talented and deserved squad in a long time, where suitable players can be found for any scenario. The hosts have great chances, but this advantage could also turn against them. Potentially, that could be Euro winner and definitely one of three teams who are most likely to win the entire tournament. Together with it, I would say that one more concern is about the goalkeeping position, where Manuel Neuer's form is far from good, and toxic Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, who's waiting for his chance, could also be a problem for climate inside the collective. Let's take a look.